The husband found out about his wife's infidelity and took revenge in an unusual way. Listen to the confession of a cheater.
We found ourselves at a work conference that spanned several months, and coincidentally, we were seated beside each other during the keynote address. From the moment we began conversing, I felt inexplicably drawn to him. He welcomed me with a genial grin, and his relaxed nature put me at ease immediately. It didn't take us long to discover that we shared many similarities. We held similar positions in our respective organizations and were striving toward comparable career goals. Our shared zeal for our careers and an unwavering aspiration to achieve success brought us together as fast friends. As the conference progressed, we found ourselves spending more and more time in each other's company. We shared meals during the breaks between sessions, and after the day's events concluded, we often lingered to engage in further discussions. It was during one of these late-night conversations that we both recognized that our relationship had evolved beyond mere friendship. We were both aware of the palpable chemistry between us, and we mutually decided to take our relationship to the next level. Our first night together was passionate and fervent, and we felt as though we had known each other for years. We both knew that after the conference concluded, we wanted to arrange to see each other again. As a result, we embarked on a clandestine relationship that persisted for several months, unbeknownst to our colleagues. We used to rendezvous in hotel rooms and secluded parts of the city, both addicted to the rush of adrenaline, even though we were fully cognizant of the risks involved. Looking back, I can hardly believe how foolish we were, gambling everything for a fleeting desire that we both knew couldn't endure. We were well aware that this couldn't persist indefinitely, but in that moment, all that mattered was the thrill of being together. We were reckless and indifferent to the consequences of our behavior. We never imagined that our irresponsible actions would catch up with us in the most unexpected manner. Our selfish deeds had far-reaching effects on all of us. My affair, which occurred during a work conference, ended, and I assumed it was over. But to my surprise, my husband had recorded everything that happened during the affair, even though he wasn't present at the conference. I felt lost and alone, uncertain of the direction my life was taking. Should I pretend that nothing had happened and express a desire for change? Or should I confess my mistake to my husband and attempt to persuade him to forgive me? Ultimately, I chose to keep my indiscretion a secret, burying the truth deep within my heart. However, to my husband's fortune, some of the bones were never truly buried. For an extended period of time, I was greatly disturbed by the enduring impact of the enjoyable moments I experienced at the conference. This lingering disturbance ultimately led me to cross paths with the individual who was the ultimate cause of my downfall. Given this information, I can understand why you might be intrigued to learn more about my hubby. Perhaps you are wondering if he is someone who tends to have a negative outlook on life. Whatever your thoughts and queries may be, I can assure you that they will all be answered through the stories that I recount. My name is Clara, and my spouse is James. It was a chance encounter that brought us together in a cozy coffee shop. I was seated alone, enjoying my latte while lost in my own thoughts, when he unexpectedly appeared. Our eyes met, and in that instant, an unexplainable bond formed between us. Without hesitation, he approached my table, introduced himself, and we began to engage in conversation. As we talked, we discovered a natural affinity for one another, and before we knew it, hours had passed without us even noticing. Our romantic relationship blossomed after we exchanged phone numbers, and it was largely due to the missteps I had made in my past. Initially, I approached our connection with caution, but he was empathetic and understanding. Despite my lack of self-assurance, he never criticized me for my background and always made me feel intensely cherished and safeguarded, even before I realized it. Our lives became intertwined, and we discovered that we shared many similarities. I relished the way he made me feel, as he always put my needs first and exhibited genuine concern for my well-being above all else. Without any hesitation, I knew deep within my heart that I had discovered the individual with whom I was destined to share the rest of my life, and I eagerly anticipated embarking on a new journey with him. During one of our leisurely strolls in the park, my beloved partner caught me off guard by suddenly dropping to one knee and presenting me with a proposal. Although I was taken aback and somewhat apprehensive, I could see the love radiating from his gaze as he expressed his adoration for me and his desire to spend the rest of his life by my side. He also expressed his fervent wish to make me his spouse for all eternity. As if the proposal itself wasn't enough, my partner further astounded me by producing a stunning diamond ring and asking for my hand in marriage. Overwhelmed with emotion, I struggled to contain my joy. But deep within my heart, I knew without a doubt that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with him. Without hesitation, I answered with a resounding yes, and he quickly slipped the ring onto my finger. It was a momentous occasion, and I felt an indescribable sense of elation. I eagerly looked forward to planning our wedding and our future together, knowing that with him by my side, anything was possible. Following my partner's enchanting proposal, we set about organizing our wedding without delay. Our guest list consisted only of a select few members of our immediate family and a handful of close friends, and we chose a stunning garden venue that was ideal for our vision. For our theme, we opted for a simple yet elegant vibe with delicate pastel hues and abundant greenery. As the day of our wedding approached, I was filled with a mixture of excitement and apprehension. Although I was eager to marry the man of my dreams, I also hoped that everything would go according to plan, as I yearned for a flawless celebration. As I made my way down the aisle in my pristine white wedding gown, my eyes met those of my beloved spouse, who stood waiting for me at the altar, looking dapper and suave in his suit. Overcome with emotion, tears welled up in my eyes. The ceremony was a thing of beauty, replete with heartfelt vows and romantic readings. We exchanged rings, sealing our love with a tender kiss. As we made our way back down the aisle, hand in hand as newlyweds, our family and friends erupted in cheers of joy. The reception was a lively affair, filled with laughter, dancing, and an array of mouth-watering delicacies. Every moment of our special day was filled with joy and gratitude as we reveled in the company of our beloved family and friends who stood by our side. We felt an overwhelming sense of appreciation for each other, and it was clear that our love was stronger than ever. The day was a perfect start to our married life, and we knew that we had embarked on a beautiful journey together. Following our wedding, I felt as though I was on cloud 9, with my husband by my side. He had always been an exceptional partner, consistently showering me with love, care, and attention. His unwavering devotion made me feel cherished and adored, and I knew without a doubt that I was fortunate to have him as my spouse. Through thick and thin, he stood by me, offering comfort during tough times and bringing joy to my life with his infectious sense of humor. He would often surprise me with thoughtful gifts and romantic gestures, and he never failed to make me feel valued and respected. My husband was an exceptional provider who tirelessly worked to ensure our financial stability and meet all our needs. He was reliable, dependable, and I could always count on him. I adored him more with each passing day, and he was the ideal partner. However, my job required me to attend numerous conferences and events across the country, which I enjoyed as they presented opportunities to learn and network. Unfortunately, my husband wasn't always enthusiastic about them. Whenever I had to travel for work, my husband would express concern and encourage me to prioritize my safety. Initially, I found his worry touching and appreciated his care for my well-being. However, as time passed, his anxiety became problematic. He would frequently inquire about other attendees at the conferences, particularly the men, and ask if I had made any new male acquaintances. He even went as far as asking if I had spent any alone time with them. Despite my attempts to ease his worries, my husband's suspicions seemed to escalate with every work trip. While I knew he was always prone to jealousy, I never anticipated it would be such a major issue. It became challenging to do my job without constantly worrying about upsetting him. As my work conferences became more frequent, his suspicions intensified, leading to endless inquiries about my itinerary, meeting attendees, and activities. I did my best to reassure him, emphasizing the significance of these conferences for my job. Despite my efforts to allay his concerns, my husband remained suspicious. One day, I discovered that he had hired a private investigator to track my every move without my knowledge. The investigator documented a particular incident, leading to a complicated situation for me and the other individual involved. Despite the evidence, my husband never addressed the issue with me, leaving me confused and scared by his sudden coldness and strange behavior. The question of whether or not to tell my husband kept plaguing my thoughts until the biggest mystery of my life was suddenly revealed. I had attended a conference and planned to surprise my husband upon my return, but I was the one who received a shock. As I entered my home, I noticed a pair of women's shoes and became alarmed when I heard strange noises from the bedroom. My anxiety grew as I approached the room, and upon opening the door, I discovered a strange woman in my marital bed with my husband. The experience was the most shocking of my life. I was left wondering who the woman was and why my husband would do such a thing to me. He showed no remorse and acted as if it was normal behavior. His reaction made it clear that our relationship was over. I felt angry and wanted to attack the woman, but he warned me never to raise my hand against her. I was left confused and curious about what was happening as the woman dressed up and left. The house felt like a graveyard, with a pervasive sense of isolation and emptiness that lasted for a long time. Summoning my courage, I approached him as he sat in the living room. To my surprise, he angrily accused me of causing his infidelity. He proceeded to reveal how he had hired a colleague to spy on me, divulging all the secrets the spy had uncovered. I was in disbelief that my own husband had stooped so low as to hire someone to monitor my activities. His actions made me feel like he had no faith in our relationship and was willing to do anything to catch me in the act of wrongdoing. It was a significant blow to our trust, and I felt like a criminal. It was painful, and I found myself blaming myself because the spy eventually found what he and my husband were looking for. However, my husband made things worse when he revealed that he had decided to take revenge by cheating on the wife of the man I had cheated with, making it a tit-for-tat situation. Feeling angry and vindictive, I retaliated by informing the other man about his wife's affair with my husband. He confirmed it with his wife, leading to a catastrophic end that nobody could have imagined. The situation spiraled out of control, resulting in the dissolution of both marriages and leaving us all in unbearable pain. My husband filed for divorce, and the other man did the same, leaving us all alone and in the streets. The fact that my actions caused the revenge that tore apart two families will always haunt me. I am truly sorry and will carry the weight of my regret for the rest of my life.